Hanamura A defense where we uh we didn't hold once on point A, so we can have a look at that, and also our King's Row A attack as well, which failed miserably. What we could have done against Double Shield, what's the theory? So maybe we can have a look at the Hanamura A first, and then we can have a look at King's Row A.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Then
The code is just pasted in squad.
that's good. Yeah, I have it. Then let's take a look.
Traveling to Hanamura.
Hanamura point A attack, you said, right?
Ready
Defense.
for battle.
We
Point
try to
A.
defend.
Point A defense. Alright.
Defend objective A.
Then yeah. Do you just want to rewatch it and then we talk about it, or do you already have some more specific ideas, some specific things you want to talk about? Or
Any questions to start off with? Adam Minty straight away.
Well, I was asked to play on right side of point, but I feel like it's very unorthodox because I've always played on left, and on right I just didn't know how to play there adequately, and I got killed because I basically not used to playing there.
okay.
Is it what exactly am I need to be doing in this position?
And how about like to answer this question, right? Let's zoom out for a second. Yeah, we're playing this comp. What would you say is kind of like our win condition? Like, how do we even win fights with this composition? And if you would describe it.
Giving picks before they engage, force them to regroup.
Before close, I mean, obviously, yeah, shoot is definitely, especially against the brawl teams. So basically, like, what if we don't get picks? Like, what's the kind of other thing that we want to get? Like, what comes before picks, basically? Like, if we don't get picks,
as far.
Sorry, as far? No, I mean, as a general, like, you said, like, hey, this composition only wins a fight if we, or only kills people. And you said right now, the answer to this basically is we need to get picks before they even come close to us. This is the only way we can win a fight. You said now obviously specific against this brawl team. And I was just asking, like, if we don't get picks, like, what's the minimum that we can look for to get before they come close to us?
Fight some kind of
Sorry,
retreats and keep.
Yeah, like, exactly, like cooldowns, right?
Yeah, make them waste resources as much as possible.
Like cooldowns, exactly, like resources, for example, or things also like HP and stuff like this. Maybe if we can beat an ultimate, things like this. That's what we want to try to get. So basically, yeah, like let's just say it. We want to force resources, right? So if we force these resources, then we get picks. I mean, obviously, if they have no more shield, if they have no more defense matrix, then either they die because, I mean, you will just shoot them, or they have to hide and they have to like recharge and so on. They have to like play defensively. Then obviously we can just like rotate away from them again and get more distance, and then it's like basically the same at the start. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, Artemis, do you agree with this? Okay, perfect. Now, how can we kind of force this resource in the best way possible? Like, obviously, it's all about forcing this resource, right? So, is there anything that comes into your mind for like doing this the best way? Is there any, like, I don't know, do you have any concept in mind or anything that regards to this?
Attack them from different angles.
Why oh, the other way around. Why do you say angles?
Because it's much more difficult to like sustain damage from different angles. You have to divide your attention, and like you can't just block everything.
Yeah, like right, like they have a Reinhardt, for example, and they have a Diva. So if we now all shoot from the same angle, like all 6, I mean, what will happen is they will obviously start, I guess, with a little bit of defense mid, but they will start with the Reinhardt shield, like as the first cooldown, then the second cooldown defense metrics, then maybe, I don't know, May walls, then they have like lamps and so on. So it's like one cooldown at a time, you know, like they never have to use two because, I mean, they just get shot from one side. So they can make it like they can make it perfectly, so they have like maximum efficiency, and they will definitely then close the gap. If we now say, hey, we shoot from 2 sides, then what happens is not that we do more damage. I mean, we do even less damage at the fact. Obviously, like we are less scary if we shoot on 2 sides. But it doesn't matter if we have like 1 million damage on this one side, because again, like defense measures eats up everything anyways. But this way, we force out the defense, the Riot shield immediately, and the defense metrics at the same time. So it's not about the amount of damage we do. It's still like lethal amount of damage because we have like one Pharah, for example, or one Ashe. None of them should be like unguarded. So we have now 2 cooldowns at the same time instead of making them one by one. Right? And obviously, if we have now another one, then maybe even also have a May wall at the same time. So like the more angles we have, basically, the faster we force out other cooldowns. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then obviously, like, you know, like let's get down then to you, to your question, what you asked is like, hey, you said, hey, you want to, oh, okay, for like team set or whatever, like that you wanted to play on this left side here, but you wouldn't be comfortable. I mean, yeah, what can, I don't know, like what can we do to solve this? Or like, obviously I guess we all understand, right? Like, obviously, yeah, sure, we want to have multiple angles. So if we now, let's say the Ashe stays here, then we have like, I guess, 2, like the Pharah pokes from somewhere, and like here the Ashe pokes from another one. Sure, we can do this. Is it the most effective thing? I don't know if this is super effective. I mean, we have just 2, right? Like, I guess, or like maybe it's wait, I asked differently. One more thing about these angles. Obviously, right? Like, or like, okay, let me ask this so it's easier if you say it than I do it. You know, let's say we have this Reinhardt and Diva and so on. Like we said already, like 2 angles are better than 1. Then why don't we go crazy and say, hey, we have 1 angle, we have another one, then we have another one, and then we have also our Orisa on a different side, and then, you know, our Diva also pokes from somewhere else. Like, why do we not have like 5 angles then? You know, like the Ashe at one side, the Pharah Mercy, I guess, on the other one, Orisa on one, Baptiste on one, and the Diva on one. What's the problem with
Because
this?
it's too difficult to help each other if they pressure one of us.
Is it? I mean, we're all range, right? Like the Baptiste can just heal the Orisa. I mean,
They can.
I just
no, we're not roll range. This is line of sight. We can't all hit from different angles because it makes us weaker on one of the angles.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
sorry, Minty. I obviously, yes, you're right. I just wanted to
you.
also ask some more critical, you know, or like critical things there. But yeah, like, of course, you're generally speaking right. Like, it's obviously way harder for us to help because of, for example, LOS, but also like more obvious, or like other things for like, hey, what happens if they just like wall here, right? Like, and then we're kind of fucked. The same thing, obviously, the peeing. It doesn't mean that just because our Baptiste is here with the Orisa, like, sure, our Orisa will survive longer, but it's not like, oh yeah, you will now survive for, I don't know, 50 more seconds against this comp. Like, no, it doesn't matter who they reach, they will still kind of run them over. But obviously it helps. Jenny speaking, it's also just like, it's basically the question is like, why do we not do this? Is because like the question of like safety. Like how safe we are. Because obviously if like May, you shouldn't, like, May also shoots right clicks, right? If the one right click hits the Baptiste, or like, let's say hits the Ashe who is alone, I mean, that is significant, you know. It doesn't matter if they are spamming or not, especially if the Baptiste also shoots, so it's not something. So definitely, we always need to make sure that we are also kind of safe, because if we are like 0 safe, then also our damage output goes down, because like I said, there's no... Ashe gets hit once, she has to hide for like 20 seconds or gets a mega health pack, then her whole damage is gone. So it's basically, there's always this question between like, how safe are we compared to how much value do we get? Like I hope this makes sense, right? Like if we like
Yeah.
maximum value would be like we just have like 20,000 angles, but then one shot against us would just mean, hey, we immediately have to go back and heal or something like this.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now basically what we need to solve, or like what we need to look for, is now the best mixture. Like how can we find the best like the most amount
This
of value?
balance between
Exactly, the balance between it. And normally, from experience, I can tell you it's always like a 3 is a nice number, let's say like this. Like for multiple reasons, because also Overwatch, I mean, I said this, right? Like always has like 3 lanes, kind of, if you wanted to say it like this.
Yeah.
Like there's, for example, one way lane, there's another lane, and there's another lane. So if we control 3 lanes, there should be always a possibility for us to always hit them at least from 2 different paths. With obviously rotations. So basically, yeah, to just make, coming back to like, Artemis' question, what you said. Okay, like, what's now the best position? Like, how can we find a good position so that we, for example, control 3 lanes? And obviously, yeah, like this is one here, and then I guess one from, I don't know, somewhere here in the middle somewhere, and then obviously one from maybe, I don't know, somewhere here. Now we also know that we need to put our heroes there depending on how safe they are. So I said it, like the safety is the question, but obviously like the more movement we have, the safer we are. So especially who is one of the safest characters, or like safest duo, I guess. I mean, it's, I guess more easy. It's like the Fire Mercy, right? Like especially against compilation like this, they're not really that scared. Like they, especially with the Mercy pocket, they can, yeah, they are not point that they are really safe because simply because of the Pharah's movement abilities. So basically it means Pharah Mercy can always be on the most quote unquote dangerous position because they are really unlikely to die compared to Narisa, right? Like if Narisa would be in the most dangerous position, then they would just run at her. She doesn't have a movement ability or something like this. I guess the D.Va too. And the Ashe, obviously, yeah, sure. Like Ashe doesn't want to be quite close to them, but she has a lot of range and so on. She also has the shot, so maybe, yeah. And now we've just figured it out, right? Like we put ourselves now in a different position. For example, Artemis said, hey, you want to stay here? I mean, or like the team says, I guess, right? Because it's a great angle. But you got forced out, or you didn't like to play there. Now, then what's like, now comes to the question, like to the solution, right? Like, what can we do now? Maybe Artemis, do you have an idea on your own, or does the team have an idea how we can support our Ashe better? Or like, can we maybe put our Ashe somewhere else, but still keep up multiple angles?
D.Va on the platform. D.Va on the right platform in front of the Ashe.
D.Va here, okay.
Yeah, or even just a bit on the high ground, just below Ashe. Yeah,
Mhm.
there. Yeah, or we just swap sides. You take the other side. I don't mind.
So here,
But I get less poke. Yeah, but the left side gets more poke. The left side is like more primes. That's kind of the reasoning why the but yeah, there's the 2 solutions, and then Ashe can also rotate backwards towards the Baptiste, or maybe.
Mhm.
And then Baptiste try and line of sight the Ashe. I think as soon as Ashe hits near the point, depends if they're forcing point or not, Baptiste can heal the Ashe. And also we have Mercy that can go to the Ashe and defend. So on a dive, we have D.Va and Mercy who can protect.
Yeah. Artemis, you obviously asked a question, so what do you think about these options? Because
Well,
yeah.
honestly, I looking back, I could just play right side like I was supposed to. I could also play on that roof on further right as well.
Yeah, that was where I was intending you to play. That's fine.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And do you think like would this already save your like would this already be good for you? Do you feel like you're confident enough to play from here compared to here, like because of the questions or of the problems that you brought up?
Yeah, mostly I just wasn't used to playing there, so I missed my coach cans to get back in position. Missed my just jump down and attention.
That's
Things
fine.
like that.
Yeah, I mean that
Stemming
just
from-
happens sometimes with like
Yeah.
you haven't practiced this like setup, so that's understandable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it actually gets me killed.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, perfect. Then we already like solved this now. Like obviously, yeah, sure, Artemis. I mean, I don't want to always blame it only on like, of course, maybe only on mechanical things that you say like, yeah, obviously I couldn't do it better, or like I should have defended myself. Also, we can, like obviously we looked right now at the big picture, and definitely I would say, hey, we can just put the Ashe here, maybe with a D.Va who is like taking more care of her, and especially if, for example, this D.Va is a little bit more aggressive, or if there's like some Mei shots or whatever to defend. We can also, this would be just to talk about the other solution, just, have a quick chat about it. If the Ashe is here and the Pharah is here, definitely be also possible. The
It's fine.
yeah, the what we always like, what especially both of you like as the DPS player, or like as the ones that are on this angles have to think about the same way also the Orisa, for example, is like, what's my path of retreating, right? And is this safe enough against things like this? So obviously for the Ashe, it would be, I guess, if you stay here. I mean, where would you retreat to if they, let's say, TP on you? What would be your, like, where would you go?
I could retreat to point, towards point.
So like this, through here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds reasonable, sure, right? Then you can just like coach can here, you immediately in the line of sight for Minty, and obviously the D.Va also like should, if they completely speed boost, give you some time to get out there, for sure, right? And the same thing then here, if our Ashe stays here, I think this is also a great position to like poke and so on. Maybe even the Orisa can give her a shield at the start or something like this. And then if they just like run at her, you can maybe like, I don't know, coach gang up here. Coach up here, and then walk from here. I mean, obviously they cannot just, I mean, they obviously can follow you with like, the stairs, but obviously it would be faster. And then you just run like this. This is also another option. Like, again, like I don't really care, to be honest, where you position. It's just what you as a team feel more comfortable on. Okay.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, so they make us so maybe we can have a look at the actual attack itself or the defense itself, because they make.
Yeah, they sort of like a dive.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? Like, because I also said it, this setup obviously was against this whole idea also, like, obviously spam against Brawl was against in this matchup, like how do we play against like Broad, especially if they now play against Dive. We have to adapt not only from our, like, first of all from our strategy a little bit, but also then from our positioning. So now it's not the same. Like, do we now think it's still our number one to go to, what you said before, get picks before they reach us? Is this how we win the fights? Before
No, we
engage?
need to live.
No, we just need to
No, we just need to
survive and
live.
dive.
That's
Yeah.
all we have to do is just live.
Exactly. So basically, yeah, right. And because this is not the main thing that we just all based around, now it changes a little bit. Like, obviously, sure, picks are great, it's still fine, but like living is way more important. So and how do we survive this? I mean, I will just go it really quickly. I don't want to make it whole thing again, but like, how do we survive? Basically, we make sure that they, best case, cannot even dive us, because if they dive us, obviously will be rough for us. So what we try to do, like, number one, what we try to do is we try to focus out tanks, because without the ball, without the D.Va, they will most likely not dive in. So if we can like force them out, this would be great. And secondly, we group together, and our tanks try to like push out more the lines. Basically, instead of like here we have against the Brawl, right, we have this like DPS on angles, because again they have a lot of damage, and they're obviously really safe against this stuff, against Brawl, because of the movement ability and so on. Against Dive, what normally happens is that we have our core more together, like this more, like, instead of the D.Va. But generally speaking, I mean, again, obviously Pharah Mercy can still be a little bit more free, obviously, but just to understand the concept. And then our tanks try to be a little bit more aggressive. Our D.Va can go, for example, here, block this entrance, for example, or our Orisa can maybe like go here, because if they then dive the D.Va, or if they dive the Orisa, it's not as bad as if they would dive like our Ashe, right? So and still, if the D.Va or Orisa is here, the ball still has a hard time. Imagine like, hey, I'm ball, I'm trying to set up a dive, and here's a D.Va in the door. You're like, oh, shit, because he will not kill the D.Va, because I mean, obviously we have two healers, and we have an Ashe and a Pharah who like all the time shoot at the ball. He will not win this trade-off. Or the same way here, like if the ball like tries to like stays here, gets ready to dive our Baptiste, if an Orisa literally stands here, like, oh sorry. Like, ball tries to like set up here. If our Orisa stays here, she just shoots them. I mean, obviously the ball will not die, but he can also not set up a dive. So that's the whole thing. So that, like, and this kind of allows us to just get more and more space. Okay, don't want to go more into Fury,
Yeah.
but that's the idea behind it. So main thing what I want to say here is basically you adapt depending on what they play.
Yeah. Oh, I took the Mercy all the way behind.
Der Kampf als Schutzengel ist da.
Do we contest again? Yeah, we do. Just get another angle. No, we die. Yeah. I mean, obviously, right, if you want to go over more details or like micromanagement and so on, sure, we can do this. But it's been especially the first engage here. There's, I think we kind of covered it already a little bit, right, with what the mistake was. Obviously starts with, hey, we have, like, we rotate, sure, definitely, like, sure, it's fine that we rotate, so we are more in a more comfortable position. If we feel like this is the position we want to be on, sure, I'm completely fine with this. But right, like, no, like, we are to split. Like, I mean, obviously, imagine like you play this 6-man dive or something. I mean, what are you looking for? Obviously, you're just looking for the split targets, and this is an obvious split target. So, is it now like Artemis' fault that she was like, or like it was too early here, or was it the team's fault that we were too late? Like, I don't know. It depends a little bit on communication also, like, but like, doesn't matter who is the fault. It's just like, this is not good for us, you know, like, either we have the diva with more here or we have more presence, like, basically, you know, like, that's what I mentioned, like, our tanks need to be like, the diva is maybe then controlling more this side and our Orisa is more controlling this side, or the other way around, or something like this. I don't want to go to
Yeah.
point blank, because I do not really know how you set it up, or like how you talked about it, how the communication was.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess, the more obvious thing here. Like, Aston tried to help, which was really good. Unfortunate,
Nice.
also, like, here, that's what Artemis meant, right? With your, obviously, yeah, the wrong way of kiting. Like, obviously, you have to go this way instead of this way, but you already mentioned this. It's just, like, this just happens, right? Especially, you said, like, hey, you didn't play here a long time, like, often, so this happens. And obviously, you died from it, and this sucks. So what can we do? Like, now, obviously, also, Aston also died because of this. At low HP, and then just got, like, killed from it. So what can we do in this kind of situation? Oh, by the way, it's one more thing, right? Like, you mentioned it with the Fire Mercy, that you went all the way, like, around her and took her around this way.
Yeah.
The, like, like, what's your goal as a Fire Mercy in this kind of situations? Like, what do we want to provide? Well, like, obviously, right, the main goal is like, hey, we make sure that we live somehow. So I guess the obvious thing is like, hey, Farah should always, the Mercy should always be in a position that she can peel for our backline if they need it. But what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, I guess this is the obvious thing, right? But I guess both of us can agree, like, or like both of you, like, Farah and Mercy can agree on this. But what is your job as Farah? Like, what can we do, especially if you have a pocketed, if you're pocket from the Mercy? What can you be your focus?
Kill people.
Mm.
Stay alive.
Yeah, but who can you maybe like try to focus, or like
The tanks, because I need to heal for my team, because I need to make sure my team can live.
yeah.
If I all in on their DPS, it's a little bit hard. I mean, I can kill that Ana. The Mercy's hard, but they've got an Echo. It's just hard. This Tracer is hard.
Yeah.
So it's better for me to just focus the tanks. Maybe boop the tanks away from my team. Try and get my barrage the tanks away, so that my tanks can live.
Yeah, you just barrage basically us then.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I definitely also, like, you know, it's this thought process of like, hey, if you go, for example, go to the Ana, obviously, yeah, Fire and Mercy, definitely good, but they are way faster, just from the movement abilities of the characters, to like get to you, then our team can anyway help you to not let you die. So that's the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically what I wanted to say, like, what I wanted to come up with is, I mean, you already know, right, that this rotation obviously was not good, or was obviously was a little bit forced because you gave away a lot of space really quickly, so you felt a little bit awkward there. But because you have this resources, because we give you the power, or like we have a kind of quote unquote strong core or strong duo here, we can then, the same way as a diva or the reset do, like also like take more space. So for example, if the Fire Mercy would stay then more here, or even if you, to be honest, would literally just like stay here. Again, sure, that's not so great for our Mercy, so maybe we can even like, I mean, I don't know, it's like, I guess it's too much in the open to make this move here. But let's say if you already would be here, you can definitely like just play around here, for example. A little more split to the core. Make sure that then this also, for example, like the Echo will be a little bit more contested or something like this. Or the Divas or the balls will be a little more contested. So yeah, basically there was kind of two things, right? Like the one main problem that we lost was a little bit our Ashe, obviously just mechanical, then like fell down the wrong way, which happens. But also this immediate, the split at the start was already not so good. Then also the Pharaoh who kind of made this whole rotation, which I think there wasn't our choice in this moment, but it is still not good because obviously you kind of gave away, like we gave you resources, basically instead of like just one player was doing nothing, like it was two players doing nothing, which obviously sucks.
What? Grudy, why did you rotate to the right? What's going on?
I saw the ball set up to the left, so I just like walked away from it.
Okay, fair. That's cool.
Bull and Tracer both went to the.
You left, yeah, they
Yeah.
got the
So-
left. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, again, and perfect, right? And this is sure, like this is, I'm completely fine with this. Like it's just basically a little bit of a, I guess, pre-scrim talk, or like a little bit, or like at least the more we play this comp and we once play against dive, we should know, okay, like where do we want to play? Like, do we want to hold the dive here? Do we feel like this is our best shot, or do we want to do it here? And I think both locations are completely okay. Like, I don't think there's a big difference. It's just how you guys are more comfortable, or like what you guys think, right, to play against.
Cool.
I personally don't have a strong opinion about this. Okay, yeah, and then the first point is
alright.
obviously over. So
That's it.
Yeah.
So we can. So we end up holding and winning. So we can do have a look at King's Row. And King's Row topic is just playing into double shield. How do we manage? How do we play in double
Yeah.
shield?
I just want to maybe because of like
Yeah.
to finish this topic a little bit, also show you one example, which I think relates extremely on this thing.
What's going on with EU? Why is this is a really old.
This is super old.
This is super old, man. They're
This
playing
is also not-
Junkrat. I see Washed Bedosin.
This is also not official. That's I mean, look at the roster.
This is a scrim.
Look at the roster top left. This is
Yeah.
London
That's the
Spitfire.
championship winning.
Yeah, this is London Spitfire who won the Overwatch League. I think 2018.
Is this
or
Danish? Is this Danish Shockwave? Is that
something.
Shockwavy?
I think so.
think?
Yeah. This is this was like back in like when London Spitfire was practice. It's just a scrim from against the Spanish team. But like I got hands of it basically. And
Nice.
what I want you to focus on right now is the London Spitfire. Like I don't like, obviously it doesn't matter what they play or something, like that's not the point. But they play against something more spammy right now, right? Like, I mean, again, don't think about the comps, but like there's London have something spammy, and the red team also has something like with double sniper, right? They have obviously something spammy. So like, let's look at the position. Like, obviously, they scouted it before, like the Diva was scouting and so on. Look at the position that like, London takes, right? We have the Sen here, we have the Orisenso here, and we have the here. So we already, like, it's literally what we talked about, right? Like, they play something spam related. They take, and obviously the most important thing is they take angles, and they also have the different groups that support each other. Literally what we said. But that's not really that's so much my point. So then they fight, and they win. And now they still fight and win. So now let's check out what the enemy team is doing. So they swapped heroes, right? Now they have a Diva and a Monkey. So they play something more divey, right? Look what some on Spitfire is doing. Look at how they position now.
The Zen rotates straight away. Yeah.
I mean, all of them, like the Junker, the Diva, like they are now together. So what I want to show you here and this is like super old, right? Like it's just the adaptation.
So-
Like they have this strategy. They never change any heroes.
Yeah.
They notice, hey, they play something different. They expect a different win condition because I mean Monkey Diva, so I guess more something more divey, and they adapt to this, right? They adapt the position, they adapt their style, they adapt their plan in this
Yeah.
case, and then
This so far ahead, and this was 2018 thing.
yeah,
So,
let's actually see when
yeah,
it
that's really
uploaded.
far ahead.
2018 actually.
Yeah, 2008. They're that far ahead.
I mean,
in
it's not.
terms of-
I guess I wouldn't say it's so much ahead. It's just like it's just an old, really old like idea of it. Like it's not like big brain. It's just like you react on what they're doing, right? It's literally like
Yeah.
this. Now, if you take a look at the right side, right comp again, like the red team, they swapped again, and I guess we all know this comp, like the goats comp.
Yeah.
So basically like a brawl comp. We had now like something spammy, we had now something divey, and look at this. Immediately, Lon Spitfire like splits again, or like does something else. And we can also see it like just the scouting and so on. Like they obviously have tab open to see it. Like look at the Junkrat at Prophet.
Yeah.
And then immediately, okay, to see it, and immediately he just rotates again, and they like put up the different angles and so on. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this, right? Like from also like other teams that it's just this. They always have the same team, same comp, and they just like adapted depending on what they did, with also the positioning and so on. Does it make sense?
Yep, it does make sense. It's really good feedback because I play all these comps adapting, like planning to fight against Brawl, because our region's pretty trash and everyone just plays Brawl.
Very
But
brawl focused.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a very Brawl focused.
90%.
Not saying Brawl's trash, don't get me wrong. But yeah, so you get caught off guard when we play against things like Double Shield. So yeah, I guess we can have a look at King's Row, how we could have adapted our comp to play against. So Minty, could you paste them the?
Yeah,
I
I
got it.
sent
You
it.
did it? Okay.
Now entering King's Row. Ready for battle. Ready for.
So.
Defend objective A.
Point A, attack or
Yep,
defense
yep,
or
that's it.
okay.
Attack.
Yeah, is there already same question as before? Something that is already like asked yourself, or do we just watch the fight and see how it goes, or
Yeah, yeah, you can watch the fight and see how we play wrong against Double Shield, and perhaps at the end of the fight, you can tell us.
okay?
Once we cap it, you can tell us how we could have done better against a Double Shield.
This Tracer we didn't find twice in a row. That's my fault there.
Yeah. But look at this reaction time. Okay. But the reaction time was really good.
What?
Like I have to
What?
say it. Like no, I mean like, right? Like the
Here's reaction time.
from Minty. Like he
Really?
didn't obviously like nobody sees the tracer, which of course, yeah, like at the end of the day, sure we can say, hey, it's Minty fault, but to be honest, I would say it's nobody's like no, it's just a team mistake. Like we didn't find it, right? The Sigma could also turn around to the sun.
It's
We should have
Tracer's fault.
we should obviously like press tab, see what they have, right? But if I don't know, like the first hit, like if they have a Reinhardt and he like makes a hidden shadow or something like this, right? A flank shadow. Normally it always goes through, but it's more like this idea of like you can fool me once but not twice. Like if she does it again and we don't know.
Yeah.
Then it's a problem, because if we see her doing it once, then we can assume, hey, she's a bit of a more, I guess, tricky player, and she likes to maybe like, apparently she likes to do this thing. So then also we get reminded that this is a thing, and then we definitely should like double check all the angles. But I want to just like look at this
His
the
reaction
time here. Yeah, like here.
Moving.
Oh!
No, not even like this would be a one clip. Perfect. Then with recall and so on, obviously, yeah, unfortunate. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not push Minty up too much.
Where was your shift? It's okay.
Yeah, let's just
doing it again.
Yeah, we
Am
didn't.
I gonna be the
Yeah.
victim?
This was the second time, right?
Yeah.
Pass into the iris.
Right, we got it.
Oh, we got it. Look at that, guys. It wasn't too bad. Made great plan.
Objective
Okay.
lost.
Yeah.
Stop the page.
Anything that you said like, hey, we did this really well, or we did this really, or we could do this better? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, my response to the team after their feedback was to take the flank more. So I thought I could have played the spawn, or Ball could play their spawn angle more. From what we've learnt so far, my understanding is that Ball and Tracer are now the superstars, the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And because
Against
they
the
have
double shield.
against the double shield, yeah, and because they have a spammier composition, the rest of my team must support us. So I get armor packed, I get orbed, we discord someone, and then Ball and Tracer dives in on them.
Mhm.
And Ash throws the dynamite for me.
Yeah.
And Ball.
Then why? Yeah, I mean, I definitely completely agree with this, right? And I guess everybody too. So why does it not work? Why does it not work out? Let's just go to second fight. Yeah.
Because they kite out of the angle line of sight of my team, so they can't. My team can't support us. If they went to the second roof, so let's say if Groody went to the second roof, he would be able to support us and take more angle. But the maximum angle, yeah, that roof, yeah, perfect. Because they kite in that typical corner, I'm not gonna get supported in there by anything. So I mean, the maximum angle Zen takes is just next to the statue, and that's it. Not blaming you. So if the rest of my team took a better angle, then maybe I could get more done. Also, when me and Ball dived in, we just got fucked. Like we'll just get discorded and burnt down by the Hanzo. They got immortality to live as well. It's not, yeah, it's
Mhm.
rough.
Then what can we do? Or like, yeah, I mean, obviously this was one said with the high ground. Does anybody of the backline want to say something about this? Like, do you guys agree that this is what we should have done, or do you feel like we couldn't because of reason X, Y, Z?
I think we
I
could have done that.
We could have moved to the high ground, but I realized that the Ball and Trace were engaging pretty early, so I don't think I had the time.
You're fine,
Hmm?
man. Like you've got the angle.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so
yeah,
maybe
if we were gonna
won't.
rotate, we just like comet and then.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah.
But I also don't think taking the high ground would help that much because it's still like the same
Yeah.
angle.
You can take the low ground if you want, but as long as you have that angle on that little turtle corner that they're using. Like
Mhm.
everyone uses that corner.
Yeah, I mean, right, like that's what Mindy said, right? Like there's no Razor shield. There's no Razor shield still, okay, but yeah, I mean for sure, right? Like from here you can maybe look for better Discord or something. Like,
Oh,
I guess for sure.
we should. Yeah, we do go to the high ground. Go to the high ground because they've had the problem with double shield is they don't have space control at all. So they're all just turtling in one direction in that. They're not even doing 3-3 split. So why not take that's why they're so strong in that group when we dive them. Like they're doing accidentally the perfect adaptation to a dive, which is everyone grouped up. So why not take the right side high ground? Like not just yeah, they start off like that, but they forgot about it and then just turtle. No, they didn't forget about it. Maybe they adapted. I don't know. They got good.
Okay.
But if we took the other like the right side high ground, so that you have a direct shot into the Orisa, behind the Orisa, then yeah, that would be perfect.
Which high ground do you mean? The
Oh.
like one above them or the one like to the right?
That
of-
one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So the one to the right, yeah, on that way of that green line, on the green line, yeah, that one. Yep, and then keep someone on the original near the statue or that angle. Yep, this angle. Yep. So Ash, once you guys push through, Ash can follow up, or Ash can even throw a dynamite through the hotel, which is
Can
fine.
also-
But it's fine.
Obviously, right? Like Ash and Sen, because Sen is it's not so easy for
Yep.
the Sen to be
Rotate.
that aggressive. Or
Okay,
let's
cool. Yeah, we can push the ash across to the other window. Yeah. Then I can go from hotel. Ball can go from spawn. We just scored someone. They lamp. They've got trance as well. Well, fuck. What do you want me to do? Yeah. They've got
Mhm.
ult advantage. They use trance as well, and then we just use that as an angle. Yep. Did I say it? Was that the solution?
sounds good, right?
That's great, guys. Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
sounds great.
good adaptation for that.
Let's just. I want to also like like that. Let's all like let's try to be like this and okay. Let's just skip the first fight because of this tracer stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Like we have not talked about this. Imagine we go to the next game, and we have like this POVs, right? And we know that's the plan, right? We still make the rotation. Yeah, but I already see it, right? Like so here, like it's hard for us, right? To go to just do this, right? It's not like we just like walk at them.
No,
Like-
no, we got ball tracer to keep on taking those older high ground spaces.
So what do we do
Right.
to help them?
Put ball tracer.
Yeah.
Ball tracer. Push through with them.
Yeah, but basically, I push through. Basically, this guy and this guy, they want to go here, right?
Yeah.
In some way or
And we
another.
push.
So that basically, if you want to like make this rotation here, I guess you can also do this, but doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like I'm completely fine with you doing this. Like,
Yeah.
this you know, I know me that these are the details which for sure matter in like I don't know professional games and so on.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's way more important that we have the idea, the right idea, and then if we do this or this, like I don't really
Yeah.
mind so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, like definitely the moment we kind of I guess like go out here or the moment we kind of peek here, we obviously want the ball tracer to dive them. And then the goal is not to kill this Hanzo. Like I mean, sure, of course, if we can kill him, like amazing. But we at least want to make at least distract them, so that we can push out here and like take this high ground away. So they are kind of like everybody agrees on this.
Yeah.
And this obviously need to be coordinated in some way or another. Maybe even to be honest, just the ball, because maybe even like Budok said like, hey, I will just like take care of your back with the tracer, or we say, nah, Minty, you said like I can take you with this tracer, you can like help here. This is just whatever you like. It's just like communication between both of you. Do we need the tracer to mark the tracer? Generally speaking, I guess could be an idea for like 4 rotations. I mean, or Minty says no, I will keep grabbing this. You can just like help more here or whatever. Okay, but I want to like scroll down a little bit. So we have basically like we have now like to summarize a little bit, right? We have like one solution for this now. To make a better dive or like fight against them, we want to take like better angles. Oops. For our Ash and our Sen to help us with the dive. Right? And to do this 1.1 ball plus tracer need to help in rotation.
Yep. Yeah.
I think this makes complete sense. If we have better angles, then I guess we are also more efficient. The end of the day is we like we always said, right, like dive, as you also said, like not our ball tracer, our Sen and Ash are the superstars. It's mostly, I guess, the ball tracer, right? Like these are the ones who obviously we support. So sure, definitely, like an Ash on the angle is always better than an Ash in the group, like definitely. But at the end of the day, they can still shield it. They can still say like, hey, this is one of Research shield, and this is then I don't know, like a Sigma shield here who shields the Ash, whatever can happen. Or let's say, I don't know, we cannot push them away, and the Sigma, maybe like Sigma Hanzo stay here still, and the Orisa and so on stay here. So I guess we all agreed, right? Like this is for sure a better way, and we can help this. But it's also like we're playing then still more for the Sen and the brick. And I want to like I think there's one other solution we can maybe think about when it comes to the ball tracer. How
Run through the hotel.
They can go
Run
be
through
more
the
effective.
run through the hotel. We got rally soon, right? Run through the hotel. We got trance and just run into them. That's
Sure.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess sure. Then we can, I guess, support the trace up more with, like, for example, a rally and so on. And we can just basically it's a little bit. It's funny because I had another review yesterday with a Sigma, and we were actually talking about this, like how is a Sigma, right? Like, or like as a Sand, for example, like how can I actually help my tracer be more effective if there literally are 2 shields in front of me? Like I cannot even discode up this guy. I cannot do much, and then sure, definitely taking a lot of angles is always great, but they still have double shield. It will still be difficult. Doesn't matter from where you play. Another solution could be, hey, we just ignore the shield. We just like literally stay here because then you can shield. Now you can discord up them and so on. And we can
I was
definitely
thinking about running through a hotel.
yeah, or like I mean, I just talk about the idea of it, and we can definitely do this. If we have things like a trance, if we have things like a rally and so on, then we can definitely also like say, hey, we just still we're not really like I don't know, we don't really have the idea of brawling. We just like want to quickly win this fight, and obviously support our damage, our ball tracer with the rally, with the Xenon, so that we kind of get through the shields and then make sure that we discord up them and so on, because we have this ultimate support. And in neutral, it's not really possible in neutral because I don't think it's the most clever solution, but it's definitely also an option for sure. Everybody understands what I mean or what we mean with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goody, are you okay with it? You're not gonna be freaked out if I call an all in with our inch comp?
Sure.
Sure. Dude, it's doable, man. It's
Yeah.
doable.
Okay, there's like sure, definitely. Also, like one thing I guess we can try, which is obviously mostly really depending on situations. Then, because if they have trance, then I mean we don't have to run at them. Okay, even if we have rally, I mean they will just trance it. So I guess it's maybe not the best, right? It definitely depends a little bit on also the ults and so on. Yeah. But another thing, let's say if we have this is a Sombra and this is maybe a diva, like I really want to force to force you guys on like this. Think about it like as a dive, because as I mentioned, right, we just thought about the solution to like put our Ashe and Sand in a better position that we can help our dive. But I feel like there's also one thing we can actually make the dive, quote unquote, like maybe more efficient. So if we now don't have even we can't even rely on Ashe and so on or Sand to be like super effective. So that's why I just changed heroes. How can we how can we make our ball tracer more effective, or like what can we do to make our dive more effective?
Because you're suggesting reverting back to the Shanghai default, and we don't have that option unless we have Artemis on the tracer.
No, like I don't really care about this what heroes you play. I just basically I want you to think about like sure, we thought about a lot right now about our backline and so on, but I wanted you to focus more on like this our dive opponent component, like how can this be more effective? That's why I just said like, hey, just put it here, but we can also ignore this. So yeah, I just want to like maybe we can even like watch it real quick again here a little bit, and I want to make sure like I want you to think about, okay, like how can our ball tracer have more luck on getting kills with the support obviously of our backline, but yeah. Like I just double speed because we already saw it, right? So
yeah.
Always, if you have something, please like on an idea or something.
Ashnor, any ideas on how we can dive better as a duo? Let's see what he says. Is he in a comp game?
No.
Nice.
Obviously, it's not only you. Like, if Minty or something has an idea, obviously,
Yeah, Minty.
Everybody is free to say something.
Yeah, free. Yeah, we got something. Unbind pole driver. He's not gonna pole drive him. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So basically, what I was thinking about, and let's just say we're having a full dive. Like, what always is it? Like, I just want to like introduce the topic at least a little bit so you can follow me with my thoughts. Like, what do we dive even do? Like, if we have dive, obviously, yeah, sure. Burst damage is the most important thing, and timing. This we all know. We always have this 3 steps. Like in a full dive, we always scout first, then we stage for this, and then we have to dive where we make sure that the timing is correct. But
Yeah.
I think this is all completely fine what we do.
Yeah.
I think we can maybe like do here and here a little bit better, or maybe even all
Yeah.
3 stages. Like I think the timing, which is like, I mean, we can easily control the timing, right? The timing is a little bit off sometimes. I remember like, was it here? No, this was where we had the fight before.
Yep.
And like where here we had a lot of times where not a lot, but here and there a little bit. This was a really nice timing, and that Sans almost died.
Or from who?
From us, but because we
but-
dove.
Yeah,
both of you, yeah.
we're psychically linked.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was really nice because we pile drived here. I think maybe if we really want to be super nitpicky, right? Like we can say it was a tiny bit too early from the tracer because they turned around first. I mean, because they turned around first to the tracer, right? It's what's the ball goes in first. Like they still look at you, right? And they only look at like if you literally just wait here, they will definitely turn to us. Not they will look at him.
Okay, his timing's good.
Yeah. So if obviously again like timing is super important, but it's definitely really nitpicky. So maybe if we come out now actually, or like half a second later, the Hanzo maybe looks at him, and you can maybe look for more of a maybe not one click, but yeah. Okay. But I think this is fine. There was just one moment I don't find it right now where you were fighting here against the Zen the whole time, and I think Astronaut was doing something else here.
Yeah.
So definitely this, I think if we keep doing these things, especially if we now maybe also time it with the team, that we say, hey, we make a dive in 3, 2, 1 or something like this, and at the same time we also have an Ash Dynamite or like Discord Orb, definitely I think we get a kill here. So yeah, point. This is the one thing, you know, that the timing here, like the third step, we can maybe do better, which is sure. This is I can go to a Contenders. I can go to a Overwatch League team and tell them like the dive is better. Maybe not Asian teams because they're really good at this, but like this is really difficult to do. So this, I guess you can always improve on it. But I think what is maybe a little bit more simple is these 1 to 2, the scouting and the staging, because I feel like you're really focused on this idea of like, hey, we dive, but we always dive the Zen or something like this. You know, like the same thing as we just watched our Hanamura defense, right? And what did they do? Like our Ashe was a little bit out of position and immediately just literally like went to her, right? As a dive team last time. And we can do that, like we are doing the same. And I felt like it was a little bit strict. So we can even say, hey, if we say,
Sigma.
yeah, for example, we could let's just dive to Sigma, like hard dive to Sigma. I'm not even saying we make space for our backline. We don't care about backline. We just say, hey, we want to kill this guy because he's split, or the Hanzo, right? So I feel like we were a little bit stuck in this thought process. Yeah, we always do this, and we always like dive the Sand, which obviously, yeah, makes sense. But we can also dive it. So especially here, then our backline doesn't even have to go too many angles. They can just stay here, maybe like, you know, span the Sigma sheet a little bit with some right clicks. Like, I mean, I'm talking about this right clicks, right? Like, here, farm it up, make it once, and then go again. And the Sigma maybe has only 300 shield or whatever. And we say, hey, Astronaut is ready. Botox ready, and we say, okay, I will dive. I will go in the Hanzo now in 3, 2, 1, and then we peek also here, and we can maybe like go kills like this. So this could be a solution for like, hey, the scouting part. Maybe we can just choose a better target instead of always diving here into the core when they are 6. And sorry.
So perhaps we can have the rest of the team scout. Everyone's responsible for scouting, especially like I mean, Astronaut can type, but if everyone just helps with the scouting, so you guys all understand this. Even if you're not the diver, you can help with the game sense in knowing who's diveable, and just pretend you're playing StarCraft or something, RTS, and you mark the person. You go, yes, the Sigma's out of position, top right. Can you please dive the Sigma? Can you dive the Sigma? Yeah, and then we'll have to stage, but we'll react to it and we'll get onto it. And I'll call it for Astronaut as well. Like I'll say, yeah, me and Astronaut already. Yeah, we go now. Then I need some aggression from you guys when you're diving.
Yeah. And I just wanted to, you know, like, because these are just these two, like, a little bit on a team side, like, these two ideas, you know, like, we can definitely also, like, say, like, more, hey, we really still think it's double shield, but we anyways still want to first get our high composition, and we just literally just make a soft dive and just want to make sure that they go away, and we put our Zen here. It's just, you know, like, different resources, different, like, we don't go so all in. This definitely needs to be called that we, like, what's our idea, right? I guess is our idea more like, hey, we really want to dive them and hardcore kill them? And we go, I guess, way more committed, and we go like mines, pulse bomb, and so on. We need to go for this, or do we just
Yeah.
want to like push them down, and we really play more for this? It just is different like ideas.
So
it's
a following question,
Mhm.
if we're ready for it. So when we're playing this dive, let's say we switch to dive, okay? We switch to Sombra, Ball, Tracer, etc. And we're defending now, okay? We thought we're pretty good.
Mhm.
What happens when they, let's say, for example, on B, we're defending and they push all the way to the spawn? It's very, very common. They push to they push to third, they push to C, and we can't get out to stage for the dive. We don't have the space to stage.
They push all the way
They
through
push all the
B.
way to the end. Yeah,
to the
all the
end.
way to the end of B. We're defending,
Mhm.
and we traditionally want to take all these wonderful spaces, but because we're a dive composition, can't stage.
We come from here,
Yeah.
and they already have
Yeah,
positioned themselves.
Yeah, they're already and they're all just spamming us through this one corridor, and it's hard
Okay.
for us to stage.
Yeah, and they dive us. Any ideas on the team? Like, I have Richter here. I guess I don't know. Sigma
Yeah.
here. And then the all four, like they already shoot us from here. The payload is, I guess, here. We are like 6 man. Oh, different color. And like we are here as 6. And we have, what do you say? Like Ball, Diva, Tracer, Sombra,
Shanghai default. Yeah.
Sand,
Yeah.
Break.
Yep.
Yeah. What? Any thoughts in this kind of situations?
Well, Ball Tracer Sombra gets it for free. They get to stage for almost free.
So I mean, I guess Ball just somewhere here and then rolling all the way behind, right? I guess would be an option. Sombra is, I mean, wherever anyways. So I guess Sombra can just wherever. And the Tracer, I guess, either she follows the ball all the way or she maybe like stays here somewhere, right? This is, I guess, possible. Okay.
But then the rest of my team's fucked because they don't have a nice angle. They have no space.
I mean, then they
can't
peek when the rest like dive in, because that's like their only option. Not like when to peek.
They peak at the same time we dive. Do you guys think this is like obviously both is a question, right? So do you think there's something more we can do, or do you feel like this is not enough, or
maybe the Ball Tracer can help them push and take some space together. I don't know. It's just rough. Playing dive when you don't have the space is just so rough. When you don't, if you can't stage, it's so rough to dive.
So maybe we want to make space first. Okay, maybe just because of the time, let me just like my thoughts about that. Again, obviously, I'm not the holy one, right? Like, so it's just different thoughts about it. First of all, like what you also like, why you I think make this question and why you struggle a bit is, it's just obviously the map is really narrow, which just means that this map means dive is just not really a favor. Maybe the map doesn't favor dive. Like think about Gibraltar also. In Gibraltar we will never find the solution, because in Gibraltar we always have 20 different angles and high grounds to set up differently. So that's one thing. But let's take this idea actually and say, okay, like what can we do? And yeah, like now it's a question, right? Like do we? The thing is, now we also don't have the comp from before where we had the Ash and the Sand and so on. And the difference is now we have like Sombra and Diva. The main difference is, right, we have way more power into our dive component, and our backline is less meaningful. Like we don't need to have the backline in this perfect or like in this really great position, because at the end of the day it's just a Sen who is like significant in this thing. It's not a Sigma, it's not an Ash also with this brick. So this idea of like, hey, we first make space and make sure that the Sen has a good position. Sure, we can do this. I don't think in this scenario we have time for it. Or I don't even think I don't know if there's a good position where our Sen can be effective when they have double shield. I think there will never be a position where our Sen has a good angle against double shields alone. So so basically what I would say, I would just shift the focus a little bit away from the Sen and basically say a little bit like, you just try your best that you can do, and shift a little bit more to our dive core. So I would say the Diva, for example, doesn't even have to be here, because we even have a break, so the break is like a break can help the Sen as much as there is no Diva needed in this cases. So D.Va can also be more like, hey, being ready to dive, for example, I don't know, flying up here. And then we do the same thing as, like, we really make this the same thing. Okay, we want scouting, setup, and dive. So what can we scout? Like, what can we set up? Is a Sigma diveable? Maybe not. It just looks like they're all together here. So let's just say, okay, we want to dive, descend, whatever. And then we just do the normal thing. Like, we really just focus all our resources to his dive opponent. So Sombra is looking for like a nice hex on here. Our ball maybe come from behind. Our tracer maybe also like from somewhere else, maybe from the high ground here with the D.Va together. And we just do this normal thing. The send break, I mean, sure, like what will happen, right, is then, like we obviously poke out here, and then there will be a shield in front of you, and I guess we can just try to push and maybe like go until here and see if we can find any Discord orbs for on. Maybe obviously we try to heal orb our tracer. We will definitely armor pack our ball, our tracer, and our D.Va and so on. And yeah, maybe even like if we have the time or something like this, I don't know. I mean, Sorrel or like Minty will know it way better if this maybe is useful, but I don't know. Like, I'm not a top 500 cent, so if you feel like this is better here, you can make this rotation like all the way, I guess sure, go for it. But if you feel like, nah, they will kill us before they can just push us, then I guess we just stay here. Maybe we can even get it all the way up here. Like, I don't know, but it's just more on both of them, And if they say like, hey, can somebody help us to get us here? Sure, we can still like make a pile drive before and so on. But yeah, like basically what I want to say with this more dive comp, it's really more about this dive, and we make sure that the Sombra, Tracer, and Ball D.Va have a good coordination on this.
And we can win. And you're saying we can win for V6 because the Zen and Brig are almost doing.
Yeah, like yeah. Okay, if you want to say that, yes, to not confuse you, yes, you can win the 4v6,
Yes.
but I don't think it's a 4v6 because the Zen, yes, let's say it's a 5.5, right? Because the Brig, or like a 4.5 or maybe a 5, because the Brig will still armor pack all of you guys. The Zen will still heal Opio. Sure, the Zen will not stay here and frag out, but that's also not what we designed to do. The Zen is not designed in this comp at least to frag out. It's a big difference between playing Zen, for example, with double shield, right? Because then you're designed to frag out because you get all the resources. It's the same thing. Like, look at this transition. It's literally what I talked about before, right? You had this Fire Mercy on Hanamura defense.
Yep.
With the Fire Mercy, you get the resources and you're designed to do more, and you have to also do more to actually make us win. If you're a solo Farah, you are not as impressive or something like this. And the same thing here with the Zen, right? Like, in this dive thing, our Zen is not too. We don't give too many resources to our Zen or to our Brig, right? So he's not so designed to like super be like the one who frags. It's more like the Tracer who gets most of the resources and so on. Now we had this talk here, right, about like our combo. There we have like a Sigma with the Zen. We have a Brig with the Zen. Like, we give him even more. Then obviously, sure, if we have so many like resources that we give for our Zen, then sure, he is designed to frag out more. So he's designed to take better angles where he can actually be more effective, or the dash and so on. At least that's what I also like to finish the session here, or like to make a summarize a little bit. That's also what I always try to, or like at least that's my fault of seeing this. Think a little more on who you want to support so much and who you want to like play around. And this doesn't even have to say like, oh yeah, we play this comp, we do this. No, if we know, hey, I don't know, our Zen is a fragger, he's like literally, he's like, I don't know, he's the next Jonak, then I guess naturally it doesn't matter if we play dive or not. We obviously want to, I guess, more likely put him in a good position because we know, hey, this is, like, we know that he gets the kills or like he gets really good value. So even if we play dive with Sombra and Tracer, we will still maybe soft dive here first, make sure that the Zen is good position, and then we go here. Whatever. Yeah.
So we still fight in the Zen and Briggs line of sight when we do dive, or can we just forget about them and just go to the cart and force cart?
I mean, depending where the card is, right? I guess if the card's here.
The cart's really far back. Let's say the cart's really far back.
Oh, if it's really far back?
The arch. Yeah, we just go, all right, good luck, Zen and Brig.
And the Zen, of course.
We just...
Sorry. Keep going.
We just ignore them. Like, there's an Orisa and the Sigma just pushing the gate. So, all right, ignore them. Have fun. We're just going to go to the cart and have a fight at the cart.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. You definitely, of course, you go just on the cart here. Like, the thing is, it's the thing, like, we haven't really talked too much about, but like, if we dive, like, it's also like a little bit of how do we, if they're always together as 6, like, how do maybe we can split them a little? How do we create a good opportunity for us? And it's not only from cooldowns and so on, also for position. So if we force them here, I mean, what do we want to do? If they do they then send, I don't know, like the Sigma and the Baptiste back? Okay, then we just kill them. Do they send the Sigma, Orisa, would have that, I don't know, tracer back. Okay, then we just go back here and kill the other two who are like, like we because the dive is so mobile, we can always choose it. So we can just go here. If they send all back, then I mean, okay, then our brick and send can also push up. But yeah, that's the
Yep,
idea.
cool. And then we get space for free. That's really
Yep.
good. Okay, good. Not for free, but yeah, we get it automatically. Yep, cool.
Mhm.
Any other questions, guys?
No, I think that was
Okay.
good.
Perfect. Then yeah, I
Cool.
hope this was helpful. For the maybe for the next scrim or like when you play again, because it was really a lot of information this time. Like
Yeah.
I would recommend to you like there's two things to mainly focus on is who do we want to kind of play around right now? Do we want to like really hardcore go for this dive? Then I guess if you hardcore go for this dive, then maybe even we don't even take the high ground here first. Then maybe we like really just look for the fastest way or like best way to go for this dive and then to make this dive. But obviously then the focus really on like Arsenal and Botox to make a nice timing and so on, and we try to best. If we notice, hey, this doesn't work because we have an Ashe, because we have a Sigma, then maybe we say, okay, let's just wait with this dive a little bit and focus first on getting this in a good position, then we can dive. So this thought process of like, who do we play around is like the first thing maybe you can think about next scrim. And the second thing, which is just a reactive thing, is react. And we talked about like react in the sense of, hey, they play now brawl, then we can spread out again. Hey, they play now dive, we have to go back. Basically think about do the same thing what London did.
Yeah.
Right? Like you see that they have a major shift in their strategy, or like at least we expect a major shift, then we also need to react. And sometimes maybe we don't have to react at all because we say, no, it doesn't matter. Both things is good for us. But we had the Hanamura things, right? Like where they had brawl. I think we had a really good position against brawl. Then they swapped to dive, and our position was not so good because of the reasons that we had. So yeah, these two things. Okay, great. Then
Thank you so much.
No problem. And we see us next week.
See you next time.
All right,
All right.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.